India has played a major role in the progress of civilizations for thousands of years. So in this episode, we're going to be exploring 10 surprising ancient Indian discoveries and inventions. Welcome back to another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and yes, I always love doing videos like this because you get to learn so much about the history, and it just blows my mind some of the stuff that ancient civilizations were doing when we thought we're the modern ones. A lot of the stuff that we think are new are just repackaged versions of what they were doing back then anyways. But let's jump into this episode. Starting at number 10, we have dentistry. According to many historians, the Indus Valley civilization has evidence of dentistry being practiced as far back as 7000 BC. There's a site over in MEHRGARH, which is now located in modern-day Pakistan, and it showed evidence of people curing tooth disorders with bow drills. They noticed that tiny holes were drilled on the surface of multiple male molar teeth, and several fossils like this were found. Number 9 brings us toilet systems. Both in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, almost every single house had a flush toilet connected to a very complex sewage system. Dating back to about 2500 BC, remains from toilets connected to drains were found in Lothal, India. And the reason Indians actually were able to invent this toilage and drainage system is because they actually already had the drainage system, and that was designed to remove floodwaters out of the cities. And so the drainage for the sewage system and the drainage system for floodwater, they're very close together. So they had the technology already, so they decided to use it for sewage as well. Number 8, rulers. That's what we got to look at next, but not rulers like rulers of civilizations, but rulers that are used for measurements. Areas of the Indus Valley civilization in both what is now known as Pakistan as well as Western India, they've had rulers that were made out of ivory. And these kinds of rulers were very popular because bricks that were used in the valley's buildings, they were discovered to be pretty much the exact same measurements. So of course these ivory rulers were allowing them to measure bricks pretty much exactly the same in size. Speaking of measurements though, let's talk about scales. The earliest existence of scales used for measuring also date back to between 2400 BC to up until about 800 BC in the Indus Valley civilization. So these weight balances were used to measure and compare objects and products that were bought and sold and traded. Number 6 is also a very mind-blowing one: plastic surgery. Now this is normally thought of as a modern invention, but historians believe that plastic surgery was happening back in India as early as around 2000 BC. And just to clarify, what I mean when I refer to plastic, like I'm not talking about the petroleum byproduct used to be molded into solid objects, but what I'm referring to is the art of modeling malleable flesh. The ancient Indian physician SUSHRUTA is credited for being the father of plastic surgery. And you know, before we get into the last 5 ancient Indian discoveries and inventions, I do have to let you know though that we have done many videos about India. If you want to find out more about the country, just from different perspectives, you got to check out the links to those videos down below in the video description section. We also talk about various other countries all around the world, so I do have a playlist filled with those videos as well. I think you'll really like them. Again, I'm also going to put that below in the video description section so you can check out that playlist and learn a lot more about our world. We got 5 more ancient discoveries and inventions to look at. Number 5 brings us the Pythagorean theorem. Now I've heard this pronounced in multiple different ways, and you know, as a matter of fact, I haven't heard this term since I was in school. Mesopotamian, Indian, and Chinese mathematicians all discovered this, and this was long before Pythagoras did, even though this was named after him. Now the theorem states that the area of the square whose side is opposite the right angle is equal to the sum of the areas of the squares on the other 2 sides. But specifically over in India, the Bodhyana Sulba Sutra between about 800 BC to 500 BC contains a statement of the Pythagorean theorem. Crucible steel comes in at number 4. Historians now believe that by at least 200 BC, South India was producing very high quality steel. As a matter of fact, they were using a method that Europeans were actually going to later call the crucible technique. Wrought iron, charcoal, as well as glass were all mixed together and heated until the iron melted and absorbed the carbon, and that formed a high-grade steel. Cataract surgery comes in number 3. Now, there's Indian physicians who were known for practicing different kind of cataract surgery that were known to the Greeks around 200 BC. The surgery was performed with a tool known as the Jabamukhi Salaka, and that's a curved needle that's used to loosen the lens and push the cataract out of the field of vision. The spinning wheel comes in at number 2. Now, this is a mechanized method of spinning yarn that was invented in India between the years 500 AD to about 1000 AD, and this eventually replaced the hand spinning that was very popular in different parts of the world. The charkha, as it was known as, eventually went on to become the symbol of Indians' independence movement. And finally, at number 1, the orbit of the Earth. Hindu cosmological time cycles that are found in the Surya Siddhanta, they were written between 700 BC to 600 AD, and it states that the time that it takes the Earth to revolve around the Sun is 365.25 days. This actually was the most accurate estimate in the world. Alright everybody, so that was it. That was a brief overview of 10 surprising ancient Indian discoveries and inventions. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and it was a lot of fascinating information that we covered in this episode. Definitely let me hear your thoughts and comments down below. Also, don't forget to check out the recommended videos that I mentioned earlier on. Until next time guys, stay awesome, stay educated, and I'll see you soon.